Hey family, welcome back to the channel. So the time right now is 11:50 p.m. on Friday night, December 10th. I'm doing this right now. This video was supposed to just be about the new variant that's out, the Omicron variant, and where it is now and where it was first at. So I'm going to have to make an amendment to that video. You'll still see that. I've already recorded it. I actually took it down so that I could add this to it. It's like you don't have time to do one thing before something else comes to your attention. And I know in that video I said I slacked up and slowed down on giving you guys up-to-date information because I feel like, you know, you come to YouTube to get away from that stuff. But sometimes we have to share what we learn so that you can prepare accordingly and do what you need to do for your family. So we went out of town this morning and then we just got back in. Well, we had to wait about an hour and 20 minutes away from our house because we couldn't go down that road because we were told by the police that there was an accident down that way. So it detoured us. We had to go all the way around to get back where we needed to be in order to get home. And still and yet we had to wait on the side of the road because they had that way blocked off as well. But in the meantime, while we were sitting there, a very nice gentleman, he's actually German and he's a volunteer firefighter. So we were just talking because my husband used to be a fireman. You know, they were making small talk and we were just talking and, you know, where you can find your German food and all that other stuff and chocolates and, you know, and then we got on the situation that's going on today. And he said, yeah, Germany's been in lockdown. They went into lockdown. They're supposed to be in lockdown for 2 weeks at least right now. I guess it's a play it by ear situation. And that was said by, let me just read the article to you. But that's how we got on the subject. And it got me when I got home, I started looking around and I'm like, okay, we got to find something to confirm what he's saying. We can't just get on here and say what someone else is saying, right? So what he's saying is actually true, y'all. Germany is now on a lockdown and it goes way beyond that, okay? So I'm gonna read the article. Before I get into it, if you are new to the channel, to Tommy Bites Homestead, welcome to the channel. I would love for you to join. I do occasional updates on what's going on out here. I also do store walkthroughs and grocery hauls and just general conversation in how to prepare, prep, and store your food. So we would love to have you here. Go ahead and give the video a thumbs up and let's get into this video. So it says, this article, and I will link it in the description box as well. It's a lot. It is a lot. So it says, so I will give you my thoughts on this whole situation during or after. So Germany on Thursday announced a nationwide lockdown for the unvaccinated as its leaders backed plans for mandatory vaccinations in the coming months. Unvaccinated people will be banned from accessing all but the most essential businesses, such as supermarkets and pharmacies, to curb the spread of coronavirus. Outgoing Chancellor Angela Merkel and her successor Olaf said this on Thursday. This article is dated This article is dated on December 3rd. Today is December 10th. So they've been on lockdown for about a week now. They have about a week to go if they're going to do 2 weeks. I'm going to continue to read what it says. They had a crisis talk with regional leaders. Those who have recently recovered from COVID-19 are not covered by the ban. They are not covered by the ban. And I'm going to tell you why. I've already read the article, but I want to kind of read it word for word so that I'm not throwing any of my thoughts in here. It says the pair also backed proposal for mandatory vaccinations, which is, if voted on through the parliament, could take effect from February at the earliest, and they didn't give an end date. So if you didn't catch that, they are talking about mandatory vaccinations for all those who have not received their vaccine yet. And restricting your movement. They can't go anywhere but the essential places and what their government considers essential. Under the tightened restrictions, unvaccinated people can only meet 2 people from another household. Bars and nightclubs must shut down in areas with an incident rate above 350 cases per 100,000 people over 1 week. And the country would limit the number of people at large events like soccer matches. The announcement comes as Germany battles a surge in cases that has pushed Europe back to the epicenter of the pandemic, heightening fears over the newly discovered Omicron variant. The press briefing is also Merkel's last before she leaves office, a grim note to end her 16 years as the German chancellor. So even though she's leaving, the oncoming chancellor and her agreed that this should be mandatory. She goes on to say that we have understood that the situation is very serious and that we want to take further measures in addition to those already taken. The 4th wave must be broken, and this has not yet been achieved. A nationwide vaccination mandate could come into effect from February 2022, and then they have no ending date after it is debated in the parliament. She also added that vaccinated people, those who have already received their vaccine, will lose their vaccination status 9 months after getting their last shot. And that's apparently to boost or encourage the efforts for them to get that booster shot. So if approved for the mandatory vaccinations, because what is already approved is that lockdown. If they approve the mandatory vaccinations, Germany's vaccine mandate would follow in the footsteps of neighboring Austria, which also plans to make inoculations for eligible adults compulsory from February. So I looked up that word compulsory because I know it means that we're going to make you do this, but I wanted the actual definition so that I could put it in here for you. And it says, and excuse the noise, my husband is out in his garage cutting wood. It says another word for compulsory, imposed on one by authority, command, or convention. Imperative, mandatory, necessary, obligatory, required, done under force, forced, F-O-R-C-E-D. And that is what that means. It also says in this article, Greece announced that vaccines would be mandatory for people aged over 60 from mid-January. Those refusing to do so would face 100 euros, which is $113 US, fines. They're going to face fines if they refuse to do it. And the fines are for each passing month. The European Union Commission President Ursula, and forgive me because I cannot pronounce her last name, said it was time to potentially think about mandatory vaccination within the bloc, as it faces the onslaught of the fourth coronavirus wave and concerns over the Omicron variant discovered by South African health officials last week. 2 or 3 years ago, I would never have thought to witness what we see right now. This is what they are saying. That we have this horrible pandemic. We have the vaccines, the life-saving vaccines, but they are not being used adequately elsewhere. So they're making this decision for you over there. We're going to get to over here in a minute. How we can encourage and potentially think about mandatory vaccination within the European Union needs to be discussed. Germany, much like Austria, has one of the lowest vaccination rates in Western Europe. Germany continues to see a record-breaking number of cases, particularly in its eastern states. On Wednesday, the country recorded 446 COVID-19 related deaths, its highest number of daily deaths in 9 months. Many hospitals are struggling to cope with the increasing number of intensive care patients. There could be around 6,000 COVID-19 patients in intensive care by Christmas. Regardless of any measures, meaning any lockdowns, it doesn't matter. That's what they expect it to be. 102,000 people in Germany have died so far. So let me know in the comments what you guys think of this article and what I talked about. When the guy told me, I was like, well, I haven't heard anything about it, but that's probably because I don't sit in front of the TV all day long, because even though I want to prepare and be able to survive, I also want to be able to live. And by living, that means going out and doing things. We enjoy the luxury of being able to go out and do pretty much what we want to do, even though we're still in the middle of this pandemic. I cannot tell you what to do. That's not why I'm here. I'm not here to tell you, you better go get this and you better go get that. I'm here to inform you what's going on over in Germany, in other European countries, in hopes that you will see that by now, if you haven't realized, what happens around the world eventually happens here. So over there, they went into lockdown. What they didn't tell me in this article is what the firemen told, well, the volunteer firemen told me and my husband. He said they gave their people, their citizens, about 3 days to get everything they need to hunker down and not move for 2 weeks at the least. 3 days. What if we face that over here? And what if it doesn't come to we get 3 days to do it? What if they just say, we're going to lock everything down and bam, tomorrow's locked down? Don't think that it can't happen, because it did happen. It did happen. When we first found out about coronavirus, that is what happened. They made that announcement on the 13th of March, 2020. I remember it because that was my last day of work. That was a Friday. And pretty much everything was at a standstill. Nothing was open because people was trying to scramble and figure out, businesses were trying to figure out how they were going to open safely and still survive, and how it was going to affect them in their pockets as well. So in the midst of that, a lot of people, when they give you that notice, the first thing most people do is they run to the stores, right? Because you have 3 days, or you just have a day to get it together, what you should have already been getting together. Back then, I wouldn't keep more than 2-3 weeks worth of food in my home. That has changed because we have to learn from things that happen. We have to adjust and make changes in how we function. We can still live, but we still have to make changes. So if that comes down the wire and we are told that, the most I would have to do is maybe fill in a gap here or there. But I don't want to I don't want to have to do that, because that means now I have to run out to the store with everybody else. And when people are freaked and panicked, they will do almost anything, if not anything, to make sure their family has what they need. We all saw fights. We all saw people going back and forth with each other. You got all of this and you're not leaving enough for everybody. And because people were panicking, and when people panic, they clear the shelves. So if you're one of the ones in my comments saying, our stores are full and I'm not really seeing it here, that is a blessing. That is God giving you time to go out and prepare. Prepare for what is coming. Have your food. Have your non-food items. Have your shelf-stable food. Have your water. Have your toiletries. Your soaps, deodorants, whatever you need, your medications, whatever you need. Have those things. So let me know in the comments what you think about this and this article, and about the Omicron article that you will see right after this. Because I'm just going to put it all in one video. I'm sorry if it ends up being a long video, which the other one is not that long. So, and it is to benefit you, benefit your family. I would love for you to share it out with others, not just so the channel can grow, but so others can be aware of what is going on. It's a lot happening, y'all. We got to stay aware. We got to stay, in our right mind so that we can react accordingly to what is happening. Because every action, there is a reaction. And what is happening over there, you best to believe that this administration is paying attention to it. And they're figuring out how they can do it without panicking us over here. They love to say nothing's off the table. Everything, that means everything is on the table. Lockdowns and mandates are on the table. And this mandatory vaccination, because I've had both of mine. I have no qualms about saying I've had both of mine. We all have. But from listening to what that said, it said that will be null and void after 90 days if you don't get that booster. It is mandatory for you. So what if that happens over here? There's going to be civil unrest. So you better go out and get what you need now for your household. It is not going to be pretty, because over here, people don't like for you to tell them what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. Y'all stay safe, stay blessed. Stay tuned for this next part. Hi, family. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here on Tommy Bites Homestead. Please go ahead and subscribe if you have not. We would love for you to become a part of the family. I wanted to update you on what is happening. I'm slowing down on some of the stuff that I'm updating and letting you guys know, but this came across my phone, and I wanted to share it with you guys. This happened on Friday, December 10th. Today is Saturday, December 11th. So they have identified a case of the Omicron variant in Charlotte, North Carolina, basically, in Mecklenburg County. So it was a student that attends UNC Charlotte. And it says positive test for Omicron variant confirmed in Mecklenburg County. The test was found in a student at UNC Charlotte. This is the first test. The student was isolated and has recovered. Exposures were limited, and the county held a briefing on everything to let everybody know what's going on. When did they find it? The symptoms that the student had, I'm assuming, were mild since they are now recovering. And it also says scientists don't know yet how big of a threat the Omicron variant is, but what they do know is that it is extra contagious, and also that the Delta variant of COVID is so far still impacting many people and killing many people. So y'all, please be safe. And right now, that Delta is pretty much the worst out there of all the variants that's out there. So they still are working to determine how bad this Omicron variant is. And far as I am concerned, there will always be a new variant out there. So we need to do what we have to do to protect our family. Also, Pfizer is saying the booster is very much a great way to protect your family. So y'all take care, stay safe. Remember to continue to prep, get the items that you need. Get all your cold and flu medications, your vitamins. Get these items in case they decide, well, all of a sudden this is worse than they thought it was going to be, and now they need to throw some more mandates in. Some states have already started mandating things. Please hold on. So please be aware of that. Act accordingly. Pay attention, but don't sit in front of the news all day, every day. That's why I get these news alerts on my phone. That keeps me from having to just constantly just watch the news, because you will become consumed. You will become consumed with everything that's going on out here. And I'm telling you, it is a lot, whether it's political, medical, or whatever. It is a lot going on. So I encourage you to continue to stockpile your food, stockpile a way to protect those items, stockpile your medications as much as you can, prescription and over-the-counter, your water, all of that. Make a plan. Figure out what you're going to do in case of a, situation. So be prepared as you can. Get you some backup heat if you don't have it yet. Get you some flashlights if you don't have those yet. Have the batteries you need to go in those things. Stay safe, and I will see y'all in the next video. Okay?